Hey, so turns out you have to play Termina to, make mods for it, if nothing else. I also messed up a recording, and if you haven't switched out of this video by now because you were expecting a mod, well, if nothing else, you'll be getting a little bit into my mind of the development process of mods, or games in general, because, well, turns out, hey, for work, I do some development and designing sometimes, and writing, and more stuff. But yeah, in this video, not really much else. This is more like my cooldown, because I wanted to at least make a video on Termina, even though it's not a mod, which I am also working on, but again, I have to give priorities to things that actually contribute more to putting food on the table, among other things. Nice pet pills, by the way. Yeah, so as I get into master mode really quickly here, that's right, I also didn't remember that you get a grace period while you're doing this, so I might as well use the grace period to, well, probably not here, but grab blue herbs, if nothing else. That said, turns out me playing the game and understanding more of how the game works helps me make better mods, or make mods in general, which, again, I'm also working on. Among other things, there's like at least four different things I'm working on that are tied to, video games in general, because, I mean, you could give me video games until I would never get sick of it. Unless they're, like, all bad games, quote-unquote bad, but, objectively, I can usually tolerate a lot of games, because for no other reason than, to have fun figuring out what the developer or developers were thinking when they do certain things. Whether that's good or bad, again, it's more a neutral point, but I'm not going to risk this, so I'm going to go back inside and hide for a moment. Even though time is of the essence on Massa mode, also, I should just remove the silly limitation I set up on myself in terms of doing things. So what I mean by that is, this is nothing. I messed up really badly. I could probably still make it to the woodsman's house with the grace period, but I'm not going to risk that. So let's go back here and heal some stamina first. But the thing about no saving, I'm not gonna do that. I should do that. I'd feel better about doing that, but that's a lot of RNG that, I mean, I don't need to go through until I'm more comfortable with Massa mode, because obviously I have not done the most with Massa mode in general. So, anywho, Okay, I didn't absolutely destroy my stamina. I'm getting close, though, because I need to get out of this. I need to get inside before rare moon scorches me. But, so on game development, turns out playing games helps you mod them. Who knew? Or helps you better mod them. Again, I don't doubt... I don't know if I already said this, because, again, I messed up a recording, but, turns out playing a game and learning its mechanics helps you mod the game. But I don't doubt someone could do so without really playing the game as much. Although, I would highly suggest doing so, because obviously if you don't understand the game and you make changes, you'll just end up doing weird things that make no sense. Did I not pick those up? Oh no, it's the map and the combat manual, so... Yeah, anywho. But yeah, for me, usually, if I'm modding a game, I usually like to play it a little bit, just to get more than a little bit, really. Let's see, I'm going for Tunnel 7? Yeah, Tunnel 7. So, yeah, I play it more than a little bit, do a good playthrough through it, without dying, obviously getting to an ending of some sort. But, after that, it's like, okay, what is this game made in? Can I do anything interesting with it? Usually it's a game with some amount of replay value, but sometimes it's not. I've done a few things in my, with my resume, so... and it all starts by playing the game. After that is documentation. A lot of documentation. Oh my goodness, I have a phobia, by the way. Oh my goodness. Do I get out of this? Should I just be running? I don't think I can run anymore. Well, if nothing else, this is going to be a short video about how I start developing games and mods, but... would I rather one rev twice? I'm just going to one rev twice. I might die, though, still. Oh, that's really bad. I think I can wait for a 3 rev, right? Do I get out with the 3 rev, or do I just die? Let's find out. He could spit on me, but yeah, documentation, which I still don't do sometimes, and I forget to do, because as I'm doing something or like deciding on what I can and cannot do, I have a white file, so this is fine for now. But yeah, as I decided, well, that was a lucky crit as well. And, go the other way, please. Yeah, I forget to do documentation, but documentation and things like, okay, even if it's something small, like I have an idea, just note it down. There you go. You have some documentation. It's not the best. You usually want some more concrete things, like basically making the objective of the game. What are you doing? What have you changed? Are you changing anything? Are you changing track? I say change a lot because it turns out you might be changing a lot of things here and there. And it's usually not big things like the gameplay loop of the game, the characters, the main plot that you want. It's usually small things like, oh, I can't do this because of this, or is there another way to do this? Then I'm going to change around. A prominent example is say you want to go through a character's inventory in whatever game engine you're working on. Well, that might seem a bit straightforward for RPG Maker, which is the one is this worth it? Also, I should get rid of that. Maybe I shouldn't, but yeah, even as, you have ways to look through your inventory. RPG Maker gives you that, but if you want to do something more precise, or something that the engine does not handle, then you may or may not need, well, if I'm acting last anyway, because this is, 30%, about 38%, 30%, 20% blunt. Yeah, you know what? We'll just go for it. Let's see how bad this goes. But yeah, if you're thinking of doing things basically and you want to change, whether you change something, whether you want to note where you've left off in a project which is more related to mods, then yeah, documentation helps you out. That way, for whatever reason you stop working on your mod game, so on and so forth, the plot of your game, writing things down, then you can more quickly pick up where you left off. Or heavens forbid that you stop your project, but someone else wants to work on it, then you can give them whatever documentation is relevant to making your modding, or playing around with your mod, if nothing else. But yeah, there's a whole reason. Basically, yeah, documentation is that big phase. You loop back to it eventually, and by that I mean, once you're done testing, which is one part of my development cycle anyway, then yeah, you're back to documentation. But yeah, after documentation is is obviously just doing the thing, whether you're implementing something, whether you're trying to get art, where you're trying to make music or grab music for your game in whatever capacity that may be. Then yeah, you do that and you put it in your game, or you prepare it for your game. You see what your limitations there might be. Something as small as, you need this type of audio file, not MP4 or MP3. You need like .ogg, FLAC, things like that. Flav? Why am I going crazy? I'm not. Audio is one of my weaker points in development, but you get what I mean. Small things like that, then you figure out, okay, well, I need this type, or when I go get assets for this or make assets, I need to make them in this way. Then yes, you need to. You go back to documentation, or you proceed forward and try to figure out a way past it. Usually you still want to be documenting things, because obviously if something doesn't work, you want to make sure that you either avoid that in the future, or you make it work, or you do something that helps progress your development of the game, even if that's, going back and fixing things. Now, you don't want to go too far back, but that's talking about other things of game development that can be just as a lot of time loss. But again, a realistic example in terms of this mod was me thinking of how, I was making the Abella affection mod, or the affection mod in general, if I use more characters, for Karin, but after a certain point I realized I could just do it for general characters. Now that obviously removes some of the, not the splendor, but the variety of the mod, because then you want, if you play a character, you want, in Termina, you usually want like a more personalized experience. You're like, hey, I'm playing Karin, you do a lot of talking, and, or you want to write the character well, then you don't want to just put general text for all characters as Karin. But then at the same time, I was like, if I want to expand this mod a bit, do I want to fight this, by the way? I think I have to fight this. I don't have a white vial, so I might actually just want to run. I think I just want to run. Yeah, I'm going to run. I'm going to run from the battle, but let's see. So, oh, that's right. He moves first because my agility's at 1. That's actually, do I even get to run away? Let's find out. This might be the end of the video, so I might as well say my last here. But also, I'm poisoned again. But yeah, you test things out, and then you go back to documentation just a little bit. You're not back in the documentation phase, in my opinion, but you definitely are. again, implementing things, putting them in, and then right after that you're testing, just in case I don't get to the next part. Again, this is my development cycle. I'm not really spoiling too much. These aren't like trade secrets or anything, but they are definitely, they have a lot to do with, you know, how I like to develop games, make mods, things that are related to video games in general. Also, do I have enough time? I'm slowly being poisoned, but I should have enough time to grab this and go. But yeah, testing things, testing whether or not, you know, baseline, the obvious version is, hey, does this work at all? Like, if you were to put in, you know, a BGM, does this BGM pop up when I want it to pop up? Does it, you know, where does it stop? Do I want it to stop? When do you want it to stop? You know, when you get into a battle in RPG Maker, should it stop? Should it keep going? Is it going to be the same BGM as in the overworld? Things like that, again, and that's just for one small problem like the BGM. Or one small implementation like the BGM. You could add other things like you're putting in character art. Is it, you know, are you pixels off? Does it get cut off vertically or horizontally? Does it even make sense at all? Like, if I'm Karin running downwards or north or south, does it, you know, does her sprite, you know, wiggle waggle left and right and doesn't look natural anymore? There are a lot of things to test out. Again, something like that is more basic. It's like, does it work at all? That's basically the question. After that, you have to, you know, there are finer things like, hey, you go through, and sometimes you implement something correctly and it turns out it's not as you know, well implemented as you thought. Like later on you find out that the sprites need to have a certain variation, or they have to have a, you know, they have to be able to interact with an event, and, you know, it has to smoothly animate in the case of even RPG Maker. But yeah. Also, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to save, so again, this is part of the 1 series. I don't know what else I'm calling it, but I had to focus there because I wanted to dodge that for sure. I can also duck into here. I think that doesn't trigger the death mass. We're about to find out. Otherwise, what would I use these bullets for? Because Karin starts with them, might as well use them. Yes, while guns and stuff aren't the strongest in certain situations, if they help you survive the beginning or give you a more consistent beginning, I would argue that it could be interesting, but I haven't really built any strats around what I want to do. Either coming into the shop and getting something for the mansion or otherwise. That said, how many shillings do I even have? Because, yeah, I usually get around enough to get more bullets. I don't think I can even get a lot, though, so... yeah, 6 for... okay, well, how much does that give me, actually? I didn't even take a look. That gives me 4 bullets for 6 shillings. That does allow me to shoot down things, also, but I don't think that counts for the rare reset, so... really? He stepped into that square? Well, we have to run, otherwise we die. Oh, that's right, we're slow, so... so is it better to just take guaranteed damage and then try to run? I don't think it is, right? At this point, I should just unequip my makeshift armor, because it's assuming I'm going to fight, which I'm not going to do, so that was probably a bad move. But anywho. That's right, we did go inside, so we actually have a longer timer right now. Not that I want to push the limits, but hey. But yeah, after... you know, after testing things out, you go back to documentation, or you at least look at your documentation and say, okay, what's the next step? Do I need to do anything? Do I need to add anything before I move to the plan next step? Because plans can change based on things, you know, not everyone, you know, when they're working with an engine knows all the variables that involved with developing in whatever engine they choose, and so they run into more problems. Do I even want to save it? What do I even have? I don't think I have anything. I have pep pills. That's the most important thing I probably got. But anywho, yeah, to complete the thought, as I equip this meat mallet now, yeah, that's the loop that I usually take, whether it's mainly developing but also mods. But then sometimes I kind of miss out on things, like I forget to do documentation. I forget to test out a certain use case for whatever I just implemented, which is something that happened to me for the Abella Affection mod, but still testing things out. And then if nothing else, what your takeaway from this, if you didn't learn anything from what I just said, is that's why it takes longer for me, or that's why for me. Oh. It's fine for now. I might as well use this first and then do this. So yeah, we want to actually go this way. I don't know why I did that to myself, but I did. But yeah, testing out the Abella Affection mod, and then, you know, putting things in. I usually write things down, then I implement them, and then I try to see if they work. It's a bit harder, obviously, because with the way that Termina is made, I can't just test it with RPG Maker itself. I have to actually, you know, transfer the files over to a working copy, basically modding my own copy of Termina privately. And obviously, it's not the whole game. It's just the, you know, the things. It's the files, in this case, the data files. And then I have to play the game. And sometimes, you know, for the purposes of testing things out, sometimes I add things in. Like I just warp myself to certain places. That's the usual case. But eventually, I want to do a bigger run so that I can like a whole run without any, you know, testing things put in, to see if things like work out as expected. Because that's what the end user is going to the end user is going to play the mod copy without, you know, a copy of Karin sitting at the train cabin ready to teleport you over to the tower, something like that. So yeah, that obviously takes anywhere from like an hour or two, because that's usually the time it takes for me to go through my own runs. But hey, so let me just make sure. Yeah, this grabs the key, but I mean, so be it. And yeah, that's my whole at least my cycle in making mods for Termina right now. And I was planning to make a bigger mod for Termina, but I ended up like not. I have too much on my plate, basically. To not say too much and not breaking any NDAs, there are a couple of games I'm working on, and then writing, and then 2 other smaller things that, you know, aren't really as important, but they are. So, anywho, I never picked up a thing, did I? So this, unless I want to shoot this guy, can I even shoot him? 10 bullets? I guess I can find out. Does he even move if I shoot him from here? I think he has more than 10 HP overworld. Let's find out. So, 1, 2, 3. Nope, I missed. If I miss like that, that's not great. Does he step through? 4, 3, 4. No, I keep missing. 5. Oops, I keep using up ammo. Well, I know he has more than 5 HP, that's for sure. Oops. 6. 7. Okay, well. This is not good. That's right, I picked up the officer sword. The meat mallet, does that do more to him? Well, we're gonna find out. So, yeah, we might as well run past him. I don't know, I forgot if that HP stays. I think it does, question mark? I haven't so what I mean by that, if I haven't gone over it before, it's that, so HP, all enemies have HP in the overworld. There's something that handles that. Again, I don't know if that remains consistent if I transfer through maps, but what happens is that they all have an HP value, and when you shoot guns in the overworld, it lowers the HP. It also affects them a little bit, because the game, if you get into a battle with said, against said enemy that you've shot, it does calculate a little bit of HP loss. It's not the most, and especially if you're working with an endgame build, it probably doesn't matter as much. It matters a bit more in Maso mode because, well, because they're doing less damage, and theoretically the amount of damage you're dealing to the encounter is a lot more because your own damage is quite low. But at the same time, with Maso mode, you're running for most enemies anyway, so you can, and also the damage that you may or may not be able to do it may matter a lot more or not. So, also, I never got anything good, did I? So, whoops. Do I just try to fight the mayor and die? Granted, Henrik, Moonscorched Henrik, you know, thankfully doesn't have a lot of HP, all things considered, but still. Maybe I do, because if I don't want to backtrack here, I should. Well, let's find out. So, yeah, if we end up dying here, so be it. But we're really hoping it doesn't ever hit me, and these aren't gonna help. I have an alchemy. It probably doesn't give me much, does it? No, it does not. Let's see here. What do I have? Ornament lantern, lion brass, blah 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 blah. So definitely want to throw glass shards. Do I use pep pills here? I should. Not that again, if I end up dying, it doesn't really matter anyway. But just making sure what I have on, just making sure I have things to do. Also, yeah, I was looking for healing. Might as well use the light blue vial. If I get an arm cut off, it doesn't really matter. So he didn't even feed me. Anywho, so yeah, no point guarding. Just go for the thing. Also, yeah, that's right. I have phobia. Oh, man. So I do have, yeah, that gives me 20. And theoretically, Pet Pills allows you to run away from something for free with 20 agility most of the time. I'm not going to say that's guaranteed, but hey. I think it takes 4 turns to kill. Even with an okay one, never mind. And if I get hit by both of these, I'm dead. So, yeah, I'll see you next time. Whether that's a mod or more of this to, like, kind of hold me, we'll see. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.